out who did this. We can get justice. For everyone.
So, what can I do for you tonight?
You're a key suspect in a murder case.
If we're going to do this, you're going to have to play too.
So the story of Between the Divide is really a look at the implications of what can happen to somebody who has gone through so much tragedy in their lives, and perhaps the spiralling effect that occurs as a result of this, the chain reaction. The characters themselves are all kind of representations of certain personalities, certain traits, with almost like a spectrum of sorts, with Eve, the main character, in the middle, swaying between the two perspectives. And I think that's how maybe a lot of people feel in life. We are always conflicted in our lives. We're always searching for a greater purpose, and sometimes we make bad decisions. And I think that's really kind of what I wanted to show in this story. It's a story of tragedy, of wanting to do right and not necessarily going down the right ethical road because of it. So there are three principal characters in Between the Divide. Eve Fischer, who is the main character, who's played by Francesca Louise White.
Eve is extremely complex. Unfortunately had a series of tragedies in her life. Since the death of her parents, 14, she's never been happy. She's never achieved what she wanted to do. She's put her goals secondary, and she's always had another voice in her head, dictating what she does and constantly affecting how she perceives reality.
On the surface, a very sort of black and white character, believes in right and wrong, has a strong sense of what appears to be moral justice.
It was just all, really upsetting while looking at it. It's harrowing stuff. It's very dark.
I spent most of my time with Francesca Louise White, and I have to say she's someone with such good experience that just being close to her was great, because I learned so many things. She's a fantastic co-star in the sense that she's very respectful about how you go about your own craft, will appreciate if you want to do things a certain way.
Truly kind of brilliant actress all round. I think really captured what it was I was looking for from the character. She was able to kind of maintain that persona even between takes, which is sometimes quite difficult to do when there is so much going on around. Without her being in the role, I think the film would have been very different, and not in a good way. I think she kind of really made that character, and because she made the character, she makes the film. The second main character, Harriet, played by Rayanna Dibbs, who really brought this kind of unnerving, uneasy feel to the role.
I mean, Harry is a bit of a lost soul. She's kind of undergone physical and violent abuse, substance abuse, self-loathing, self-harming. She's a victim of herself, really. So all of those things are massive, really. She's got major detachment issues. She's a bit of a lone wolf. And yeah, she doesn't like herself. She hates part of herself. She doesn't know how to love herself. She doesn't know how to love others. She doesn't know how to receive love or give love.
Raya plays Harriet. She has this fantastic ability to be unpredictable, and from the very first improvisation with her, I felt that, I appreciated that, I loved that part of her character, because I really felt like I was in the moments with her. I was like, oh, what's she going to do? What's she going to, like, even though I know her objectives, I know where she's going, I know where my character's going, she's just, body language, everything, she just personified that character for me through and through, and that was really good fun. I really enjoyed that. she's very present, I think is the best way to describe it.
To you know, from a character that, you know, I'd written to be quite formulaic, perhaps. She just gave this character so much more, you know, intensity. She almost made the character more human in a way. The Nameless character, called Nameless on the account that I always feel you fear something if you don't know the name or know much about them. This high-flying banker character, very sort of masculine, wears suits, radiates power, radiates control, and is a real contrast to Harriet, who is basically the exact opposite of everything that Nameless is, and also a real challenge for Eve as well. So Nameless is played by Mark Wisdom, who I had the pleasure of working with before on a previous project.
So I developed Nameless in a couple of different ways. The first was probably taking on real life examples that I'd had when I was first auditioning. At the time I was working in an office, and Nameless is supposed to be this high-flying office worker, and I think I developed that aspect of him through looking at different people and how they approached working in a business environment. It helped me with Nameless's confidence. Whether real or not, you have to portray this overwhelming sense of you know what you're doing if you really want to get up the ladder, if you like. And that was his more confident based thing. And there's also obviously another part to Nameless, which is kind of manipulative, and he's very much strong in his own thoughts, and he's thinking about things at all times.
Nameless is very seductive, charismatic, but also at the same time solid, predictable in what he wants. He's very clear about his goals and single-minded. And Mark, he really captured that. Like, he's got the solidity, he's got a wisdom that like belies his years. It really does. And as soon as he entered the scene, it was, you know, you are drawn to that because it is so much presence and so much I'm here.
I was really worried with Nameless that whoever was cast in the role might end up playing it as a bit of a pantomime villain, which would not have been the right style for this film. Mark just got it straight away. He was Nameless, in all honesty. So then on to crew. So I'd recruited Adam Hudson, our director of photography, who I have to give credit for as being a very good wingman to have on set. Brilliant attention to detail. It was great to have a second pair of eyes on set to focus on anything that hadn't been picked up on, and had impeccable knowledge of, you know, if I suggested a shot, you know, how to get the most out of each individual shot, how to utilize the lighting in just that perfect way, so that when it came around to post-production, it was above and beyond anything I'd expected. A real credit to work with, and would work with again. Anna Hillary, our makeup artist, I feel she really made me appreciate the significance of having a makeup artist on set. And we were able to do so much more because of it. The characters just looked so much more in line with how I wanted them to look, from hairstyles to the prosthetics around Mark's eyes to make him look older, scarring, and various other things. A very kind of important and an irreplaceable member of the team, and somebody, again, I would definitely recommend or work with her again. And I think she had a lot of fun doing a lot of the prosthetics, and use of fake blood as well is always quite fun to do, I suppose, in the grand scheme. So for sound recording, I recruited an old friend of mine, Craig Richards, who had come from a music background. I felt he was right for the part and could really bring a lot to the crew, and he did, and he went above and beyond what I'd expected of him. You know, great to have somebody familiar on set who ended up becoming so knowledgeable and so kind of adaptable to the environment that he was in, and he was a valuable member of the team. Recorded some quality sound and was flawless in what he did. My assistant director, Cal Brown, who was in charge for making sure we didn't get sidetracked, who was keeping the schedule intact, who generally on the whole was keeping spirits up on set. Very important to have around, I think, especially in the long hours. But I mean, he did everything that was asked of him. As our assistant cameraman, we had Joe Nichols, just was adding a new sort of creative level to everything that was going on. I think Adam would say he was the best AC a DOP can ask for. He was essentially doing the roles of, gaffer and second AC as well, so a very hard worker. So when directing on set, I kind of really wanted to give the actors a lot of creative freedom with their portrayals. My rule was, if you're doing it wrong, I'll tell you. If not, you're doing it right.
But Al is absolutely somebody that I enjoy working with. Met him doing my previous film, Throngold Eyes. I could see there that he was a director that wants to find a balance in between the crew and the actors, but he also wants to go with the actors' opinions on things and their thoughts and their portrayals. I mean, he wanted us to make our character from the get-go.
And I think people work best when they are trusted with something as important as that. There are a couple of improvised scenes as well in which, I gave them complete freedom. No precursor lines, no guidance as such. It was just a case of roll the camera and see what happens.
Very experimental, gave us a lot of time to talk things through and to play out different scenarios, which, so much good stuff came out from those improvisations. He let us get to what he wanted completely with our own free creative reign, and that is quite rare. So we all loved that, and we all talked about how much we loved that as well.
As a team, we worked very well. I tried to make sure that I was leading from the front, that, I was kind of always leading the charge with all the decisions to keep, remain enthusiastic, to keep everyone motivated.
More often than not, he was very much respectful of our opinions, but at the same time, if he thought that his character needed to say something that he'd written beforehand, then he would voice that, and that is great, because you don't want somebody that's too much of a pushover. And at the same time, when he's on set as well, he's very direct. If he thinks that he's got it, he will say so. It's made things go extremely smoothly, I have to say.
Very thorough. I really appreciated the rehearsals that we did to help me build on the backstory and to help me solidify this character before we even started working on her. All the improvisation scenarios, I hadn't really done that with anyone before, so that was really good fun.
Because I believed in this film. It's going to raise the bar, in my opinion, and I hope that everyone else believes it as well, because I certainly do.
Yeah, I just want fans to leave it and to be provoked to think about how they could help others.
I hope that that the fans come away thinking that thinking about things beyond what we've portrayed, and to acknowledge the subject matters that we discuss in it.
So Between the Divide will really be, will keep you on the edge of your seat throughout watching it. Expect lots of twists and turns. You're never truly going to know, nothing is as it seems.
They should expect the unexpected.
So easy for you people, isn't it? Always looking down on us, you and your superiority complexes.
Do you even know who you're talking to anymore?
There are so many people in this world who take their lives for granted. You don't deserve to be here. You will burn for this.
The distress became obsession. Take your time, detective. It's going to be a very long night for